I'm Miss Cindy and welcome to Canvas Kids. This week we are going to paint hot air balloons. So this is what the finished painting looks like. Okay, so everybody should have the canvas with it traced on there. You should have all your paints ready. I'm gonna start with about a medium-sized round brush. And the first one we're going to do is we're going to paint the balloon, and we're going to paint the middle section yellow. So just take your yellow right out of the little cup. You don't have to put it on a paper plate at all. And just paint the middle of your balloon in yellow. Try to stay in the lines the best you can. But we're starting with the lighter colors, so if you go out of the lines, it won't be so bad. So just paint the whole balloon in the center stripe yellow. Okay, so just like that. Now you don't have to worry about washing off your brush. Now you can just take the orange and do the same thing in the next stripe over. So just like that. Paint the entire next stripe in orange. Try to be careful more so to stay in the lines now. But if you go over, don't worry about it. Sometimes it's easier to do the edge and then work your way to the middle, whichever is easiest for you. Okay, so now that the orange is done, you can wash off your brush if you want, but you don't have to. Now we're going to take red, and we're going to do the next stripe in the red. And I forgot a step, so we're going to go back and do it in a second. Just stay in the lines the best you can, like I said. No big deal if you don't. Not the end of the world. Okay, now the two little stripes on the small balloon. You can actually do these so these touch in case they're not touching in your picture when I trace them. So just do the outer two sides in red. Now I'm going to probably accidentally go out of the lines quite a few times because I'm trying to not be too slow here. But you guys can take your time and try to be real careful. Okay, so now, let me get that mark out of there. Okay, I forgot to tell you to take your orange and do the middle stripe of your small balloon in orange. Actually better if you had done it first, just because the orange is lighter, and if you mix the colors together on the sides it wouldn't have mattered as much. Okay, so now that we went back and did that one, clean off your brush again, and now we're going to take green, and we're going to do the green on this stripe. So on the left stripe of the yellow, go ahead and paint it green. You guys can take your time a little bit more than me and just try to stay in the lines. Try not to paint it too heavy either, even though we're really not overlapping too much. Okay, just like that. All right, so now I cleaned off the brush again. Oops, which one did I have? You guys just use whatever kind of brushes you have and whatever works best for you. Now we're going to do the last stripe of the balloon in blue. So we have a nice rainbow. And if you want to be creative and do your own colors, you can do that. All right. Let me fix up there a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to take the little brush actually. Now I'm going to use my paper plate and I'm going to take a little bit of green. We need to make some brown. And a little bit of red. Mix them together till you get a brownish color. This has got a little bit more green in it, so I'm going to get a little bit more red. You don't need very much of it because we're just going to paint the baskets on the balloons. All right, I'm going to wash that off a little bit. And now it's a real dark color, so I'm going to add some white to it. And it'll look probably more brown once you add the white. Doesn't have to be exactly the same as mine. Just a tannish, brownish color. Something for a basket. All right, and then just paint in the basket on your balloon. And don't forget the little bitty one here. That one's a little trickier. All right. Let's see which brush I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use a flat one now. So next I'm going to make a green, a lime green, this color right down here for the first hill. So I'm going to take a big scoop of yellow and I'm going to take just a little bit of green. You can make it whichever shade of green you want, but it's supposed to be more yellowy than green, but you do what you want. You just add a tiny bit of green at a time till you get the color you like. Remember, dark colors you only need a little bit of to mix in with the light colors, so the dark colors go a long way. All right, so now I have a lime green that I like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this bottom hill in the lime green. And I'm going to use the flat brush so I can kind of go along with the shape of a hill. You want your lines from your brush to go the same direction as the hill. Remember, you don't need it real thick either. If you go over the lines, that's all right. Okay, so just like that. Now, before I go on any further, I'm actually going to, 1 minute please. Okay, I'm going to use this one to raise it up so I don't get it all over the tablecloth. Okay. So now we have our light green one. We're going to do our light orange one next. So I'm going to use the same flat brush, all that other paint off of there. And I'm going to take a scoop of yellow again. Probably don't have to take quite that much. And a little scoop, just a little bit of orange. And mix that up till you get a nice yellowy orange color. Just about like that. Alright, so now we're going to paint the next one, this one right here. We're going to paint that a light yellowy orange. I'm going to start up at the top part so I don't get the green in it yet. Just be really careful when you do the closest to the green. Get a little bit in there and it mixes, it's fine. Okay, so now I'm not even going to bother to wash off my brush. We're going to do a darker orange in this square. So I'm going to add a little bit more orange and make this color darker. Kind of up to you how dark you want it, but you do want it darker than the other one. Add some more. Okay, so now this one right here is going to be the darker orange. And if your green isn't dry and you're afraid of it smearing together with your orange, just wait till it dries a little bit. A little too thick. Okay, so now my orange hill is finished. Now the next one over here is going to be red. So I'm going to wash my brush off. And it's just going to be straight red, so I'm just going to use it out of the cup. Okay, just like that. The last one is going to be the blue, and it's just going to be straight blue. I'm actually going to switch to a smaller brush because it's such a small area. Not really necessary to use the bigger brush. So I'm just going to use straight blue and paint it right there. Especially now, try not to smear it together with the red. A little tricky. Okay, oops, missed a little spot right there. All right. So now, while the hills are drying, hopefully your balloons are most of the way dry. I'm going to turn this over so I can reach it better. And I'm going to take that flat brush again to get all the color off of it. And I'm going to take my paper plate and a big thing of white. Just like that. And now I'm going to add just a tiny bit of blue. We want it fairly light blue. So just a little bit of blue at a time. Remember, the dark color goes a long way. So kind of like that. All right, so now, instead of just painting just straight around, I'm going to make little marks like this, because it'll give the sky some texture. If you don't want to do that, you just want to paint it flat, you can do that. It's a little trickier when you get around the balloon. I'm just going to, oops, see, I went over the line. That's all right. Just going to kind of make a line with the brush and just kind of meet up to it. Just kind of go around like that. Very tricky to do the sky up against the balloon. I'm just going to kind of outline it first before I do the rest of the sky, just to make it a little easier on myself. Oops. Just kind of outline the sky in blue like that, and then just kind of fill in around it. It's harder in the little spots, but once you get to the bigger area, see how you got darker patches and lighter patches? That's what you want for the sky. So now I'm going to do around this balloon. I have to turn this. Okay. You need to switch to a smaller brush. Use whatever brush you need to use. Just do the same thing, be real careful. Either use a round brush, or you can use, like I have the flat brush, and I'm using the edge of it. And hopefully all that part is dry enough. It won't smear together. Turn it around one more time so I can finish that part. Okay. So now that the sky is most of the way done, we have to go back and put all these little spots on the hill. So I'm going to stick with, let's see, medium-sized brush, a round brush. And what I'm going to do is, like with the light green one, I'm going to take dark green and just kind of make little marks all over it. It's up to you how many you want to put. And then, after I do the green, I'm going to take a little bit of this light orange that I still had left, and I'm going to kind of dab that on it. Just adding texture by doing that. Kind of like that. Now I'm going to take my dark orange and I'm going to do it in my lighter orange. Just so it shows up a little bit. Doesn't have to be real bright. Alright, now let's see. I think I'm going to take, I'll just kind of stick with 2 different colors per hill, just to give it some texture and depth. Whatever colors you want to use to accent it. So now I'm going to do some yellow in there. I'm also going to do some yellow in this one. And I'm going to go back. And I'm going to take some red. I'm going to do some red ones in here. Okay. Clean my brush off. And I'm going to take some orange. I'm going to make some orange ones in there. Just go with some yellow ones. Oh, they do show up good. Alright, so a few yellow spots. Now with the blue one, I am going to add some green spots. It's going to be harder to see on that one because it's so dark. Okay. And I'm going to take a little bit of blue. And I'm going to take a little red. of making a really dark color, which will be good because it's dark as it is, then you'll be able to see it on here. That's the hardest one to see it on. Alright, so just like that. I don't know if you can see it on the recording here, but I can see it. Alright, so we are almost finished. The last thing to do is to make some clouds. So just take your white, strictly just plain white, and kind of make some clouds here and there. You can just kind of swirl them in the sky. Kind of keep them lighter, not too dark everywhere. It's up to you how many clouds you want. Some little puffs here and there. Let's put some right here. Alright, this one needs a little darker now. Okay, and that is it. When you're done, don't forget to put your initials on it. And that is it for this week, and I will see you next week. Thanks for coming. Bye.